This video explains how to use the contract amendment. Okay, just a little background on the form. All right, the box or boxes that you're going to use on this form absolutely need to be checked. All right, don't confuse the contract amendment though with the amendment to listing. So remember that an addendum adds to a contract and an amendment, which we're talking about, changes a contract. So number one is where a buyer and seller would agree to change the price of a contract and any associated down payments or loan amounts. A, B, and C need to be filled in. One of the largest mistakes that agents make is they don't check the box. They use something other in the form, all right, and they put in an amount in area C, and then it gets signed by the buyer and seller. Well, what does that mean to the cash and the financing portion? It totally confuses everything. So make sure the box is checked, and if you're going to use item number one, make sure all three lines are filled in. In the contract paragraph 7D2, you have the ability to put in repairs that were obvious when you submitted the offer. For instance, if you went to the property and you saw that the front window was broken, you could put in 7D2 in the contract, repair or replace broken window. But this amendment, okay, item number two, would be used to identify which repairs the buyer is requesting the seller to perform, most likely based on an inspection. So be as specific as possible, and if necessary, you can reference an attachment such as the inspection report or similar. If there's not enough room in the paragraph blank area, you can create an attachment and state see attachment A or similar. You would submit this to seller, and they can either ignore you or sign and accept or negotiate some of the repairs. Okay, item number three changes the closing date of the contract. Okay, this would be negotiated between the buyer and seller for any number of reasons. Item number four changes the amount of the seller paid closing costs to buyer. Careful that you understand that it changes the amount and not adds to it. So if the contract originally had $2,000 in paragraph 12 and you wanted to add an additional $1,000, the amendment should read $3,000. Okay, item number five on the amendment is when the lender requires repairs, which is typically would occur if it was an FHA or VA inspection / appraisal. The contract states that the lender required repairs are negotiable. All right, if you read paragraph E, you'll see that no one is required to do anything. But if they do, then item number five in the amendment will come into play, and they would agree as to who pays how much. You would then use item number five to state the amount of the items. Notice that there's an amount for the seller and an amount for the buyer. They could split it, or one person could pay all, whatever. Item number six is used to extend the option period. I can't stress how often that I see people use $0. You cannot use $0. Just like in paragraph 23 of the contract, the words has paid seller indicates that money has exchanged hands. So there has to be some kind of an amount in there. Now, in item number six, note that the extension on the amendment is to a specific date, not like a number of days in the contract. Item number seven is used typically by the seller when all repairs and deliverables have been done and the seller wants to close the door to the possibility of the buyer terminating. So what this box does, it just shuts down any remaining time left in the option period. Item number eight allows the buyer extra time or less time to obtain credit approval. It replaces the date in 2A of the third-party financing addendum. So they're changing the amount of time that the buyer has to get credit approval. Item number 9 on the amendment is just like special provisions in the contract, but should be used to describe business details and be specific.